All right, let's take a journey deep inside your own body. We're going to a place you probably think you know really well, but I promise you it is full of surprises. And no, we're not talking about your brain or your heart. We're talking about your bones. I'm serious, just take a second. What's the very first picture that pops into your head? Is it maybe a dry, white skeleton from a high school science class? Something you'd see behind glass in a museum? If you pictured some kind of static, lifeless scaffold, hey, you're not alone. That's what most of us think of. But that image is completely, fundamentally wrong, because hidden just beneath that hard outer shell is a bustling, thriving metropolis of living cells, and that's exactly what we're going to explore today. To really get this, let's think of your bone not as a structure, but as a city, a living, breathing city that's constantly active, always growing and repairing itself. And, like any city, it needs a constant supply of resources just to survive. The absolute lifeline of this city is its blood supply. I mean, it's the delivery service bringing in all the essentials, oxygen, building materials, and it's also the sanitation department hauling away all the metabolic waste. Without this constant flow, the whole city would just grind to a halt. So, how do all these vital supplies get where they need to go? Well, the city of Bone has an incredible infrastructure. We're talking about a complex network of arteries that function just like superhighways, with each one serving a different district of the bone. First up, we've got the city's suburbs. These are the ends of your long bones, called the epiphysis. They're these bustling areas right near your joints, and they get their own dedicated supply lines, the epiphyseal arteries, which make sure all the outer districts are well-fed and happy. Next is the metaphysis. Now, you can think of this as the city's main construction zone, especially when you're growing up. It's an area of intense activity, constant remodeling, so of course it has a super rich blood supply from the metaphyseal arteries to fuel all that rapid development. And this brings us to the big one, the downtown core. This is the long central shaft of the bone, called the diaphysis. This major metropolitan hub is supplied by a massive highway, the nutrient artery, which plunges right into the center of the bone to feed the very heart of the city, the bone marrow. Okay, so we've got the highways covered, but how do we get those supplies from the major arteries to every single house, every last cell that's tucked away in the dense, almost concrete-like structure of that downtown core? Well, the answer is these incredible things called transcortical capillaries. They are the city's local delivery routes. These microscopic little vessels cut directly through the dense bone, creating a network that connects the inner marrow to the outer layers. It's an intricate system that makes sure not a single cell is ever left isolated. And this just shows you the sheer complexity of it all. I mean, these capillaries weave their way through tiny canals in the bone itself, acting exactly like side streets and alleyways, guaranteeing that every last resident in this dense city gets precisely what it needs to thrive. So what happens when there's an emergency, an earthquake in the form of a fracture? The city has its own construction crew. It's a process called angiogenesis. First, the injury sends out this emergency signal. Then, special growth factors are dispatched like first responders, and they trigger the sprouting of brand new blood vessels, literally building new roads to the damaged area to deliver materials for the repair job. It's amazing. Now, a city this complex can't just run on its own. It absolutely needs a command and control center, a communication grid to manage all the traffic, respond to threats, and keep everything in perfect balance. And that is the job of the nervous system. We usually think of nerves in our bones as just pain sensors, right? The city's alarm system that goes off when there's damage. And that's true, they are. But they also act as these sophisticated traffic regulators, constantly adjusting blood vessels to control the flow of supplies based on what the city needs in real time. This regulation basically has two modes. You've got the sympathetic system, which is the city's fight-or-flight response. During a crisis, it redirects blood flow away from bone maintenance and sends it to the muscles. But then you have the parasympathetic system. That's the rest and digest mode. It's in charge during peacetime, promoting normal city operations like growth and repair. Okay, so we've covered supply lines and communications. But what about sanitation and security? Every great city needs a cleanup crew, and in the city of Bone, that crucial role is filled by the lymphatic system. This system is really the quiet hero of the whole operation. It maintains fluid balance so the city streets don't flood. It acts as the immune police force, constantly on patrol for invaders. It collects waste that the main blood vessels might miss. And it houses defensive immune cells ready to go at a moment's notice. It's just absolutely essential for keeping the city clean and, more importantly, safe. So let's just pull back for a moment and look at the whole big picture. What we've seen isn't just a collection of separate departments doing their own thing, it's a seamlessly integrated living system where every single part works in perfect harmony. And if you want proof of just how deep that connection goes, get this. The city's highways, the blood vessels, and its communication lines, the nerves, are often physically bundled together. They're called neurovascular bundles, and they show that supply and control are literally laid down together, working hand in hand from the very beginning. It's just a masterpiece of biological engineering. And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? The key takeaway, the one thing to remember, is that your bones are alive. They are in a constant state of flux, a dynamic process of being broken down and rebuilt every single day of your life. This is the city that never, ever sleeps. So, I'll leave you with this thought. If something as seemingly simple and solid as a bone is actually a living, breathing metropolis full of highways and communication grids and cleanup crews, what other incredible hidden worlds are at work inside you right now that you've never even considered?